it's me, Blythe's Dream, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about why I've changed writing school slash agistment so many times. Basically, I'm from Tasmania. Most of my viewers know this. I've got a lot of viewers from Tasmania, as well as a lot of people I know. I don't have many viewers, and I don't have many viewers that I don't know. So basically, this video is not, I'm not gonna mention any, well, I'm gonna try not to talk shit about anyone. Like, some of these situations weren't the best things ever, but this is not about calling people out. It's just about talking about my writing story. It's not a full my writing story video. If you guys want a longer my writing story video, please tell me. But this is basically why I stopped writing at all the different places I've written at, which places I've written at. I will say the names, well, I won't say the actual names of the places. I might mention names of horses. It might be easy to figure out which place I'm talking about if you know Tasmania. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. So basically, when I was about 3 or 4, my mum thought it would be a good idea for me to do pony rides. So I'm not even sure how often, but we used to go to Sorrel and we used to do these pony rides, just being led around because, like, most 4-year-olds just kind of, that weren't born in the saddle, basically just get led around. So we just did that for, like, I don't know, a year or something. The little ponies were called Victor and Thumbelina. This place hasn't been there for years. I don't think it even was a riding school or anything. I'm pretty sure this person just took their 2 ponies to, like, near the fair, and you just could ride them. You could pay to have a little ride on them. So that was, like, my first experience with horses. The only reason I stopped going there was, like, I don't know, just basically stopped going. I wasn't, like, you're at the age where you don't really decide what you do. Like, your parents basically just run your life. When you're 4, you're not like, okay, mum, we're gonna do this today. Like, you just do stuff because that's what you do. So then I always liked horses, but I kind of didn't take any riding lessons. Horses are kind of notorious for the whole don't get your kids riding lessons because then they'll want a horse, and horses are so expensive, and, like, just don't get them riding. But when I was about maybe 7 or 8, my dad saw these ads in the newspaper about horse riding camps, and he thought it would be fun because I was obsessed with horses. I talked about them all the time. I knew nothing about them. Like, I thought that you had to go, like, cha with the reins to get them to go, and I knew nothing about them, but I was obsessed with them. I love drawing them. I just love the idea of horses. So my dad rung up about them, and in an Easter, I think I was 7 or 8, I went on this camp. And so this camp was, like, it's hard to tell how far away it was because when you're young, car rides always seem way longer. Like, you drive in 2 hours in a car and it feels like you've been in the car for, like, 10 hours. So it was no longer than, like, an hour and a half, but at the time it felt quite far away. So every holidays, starting then, I would go off for riding lessons, and basically the first time I was just on the lunge, basically just riding there, learning how to ride. By the end of the first camp, I was walk, trot, canter on the lunge and riding on trail rides by myself. So I was kind of a quick learner. And then after that one camp, Easter holidays, I was hooked. So every holidays, I would go off to these camps. I think they're in Copping. Yeah, Copping. So like an hour and a half drive from Hobart. So I would go both weeks of each holiday. So 3 weeks in the first week, 3 weeks the second week. And that was how I got my fix. But I've been riding, like, less than a year. I reckon I've been riding, yeah, like a year, doing the holiday camps, like 4 in the summer holidays, every holidays, and I really wanted to ride more. I wanted a pony, but my parents knew nothing about horses. So they were like, okay, you can keep doing the summer camps, because I did them for a few years, but you can also start taking riding lessons. But, oh yeah, I just remembered, before I started taking riding lessons, I would also do trail rides, and there was this place on 5 Mile Beach that did trail rides. They're not there anymore, but you could just book they're in the paper as well. This was when like we didn't really use the internet, so if you wanted to book horse riding lessons, you either had to find out about them by the paper or the yellow pages. So I would look in the yellow pages and look at all the horse riding schools, and I would just ring them and like see who had a spot. And these guys did trail rides, so I was like, can I do a trail ride? I reckon I asked like twice a week if I could do it. And like once a month, mum would be like, okay, you can do a trail ride. So I started going there, and I kind of did that on and off, but I hadn't started regular lessons yet. But then a friend that mum worked with, I'm pretty sure, whose daughter did horse riding, recommended a riding school that was a lot nearer to me. So I was still doing the holiday camps and I was still doing the occasional trail rides, but then I also started weekly lessons. So I was doing weekly lessons. I think I was about 9 when I started weekly lessons. Every week I would go and I would have like an hour riding lesson, starting off in like lunch lessons by myself, then going on to like group lessons, riding all the different horses there. And I think I stayed there until I was about 11, so I was there 3 years. And around the time when I stopped going there, I also stopped doing trail riding. I stopped doing the trail rides and I stopped going to the camps because it was too far to drive. I was getting a bit older and like it just kind of stopped working. I was having a little bit of a hard time at the riding school. I was being I would say my teacher had more faith in my abilities than I had. Like I was quite young, like 10, 11, and I was being put on more and more complicated horses. And then I had this stint of just falling off every single week. It just came to where I was dreading to go there because I would just fall off every time the horse would spook, bolt, I would fall off. So then I was kind of like, I was distraught. I kind of didn't think as like a 10, 11-year-old, I didn't think that I would be able to do horse riding again. So I was really upset. I said to my parents, I'm going to have to quit horse riding. And I remember we were in the car and I started crying and they were like, oh, it's okay. And then they're like, okay, so let's look up about another riding school to go to. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think I would be able to keep doing lessons. I thought I had to quit forever. And they're like, no, you've been doing it for years. May as well keep doing lessons. So then I started riding with at a riding school down in Leslievale. I was there for I think 7 years, from the time when I was 11 to when I was 17. So I started doing riding lessons there. From the age that I was 11 to 13, I had riding lessons there, riding the school ponies. Then when I was 13 or 12 or 13, I bought my first pony. And I gisted him there. I took him to pony club, and then I kept him there until I was about 14. Then I'd kind of outgrown him, so I got my first horse. Kept my horse there from the age of 14 to the age of 17. Then when I was 17, basically Timmy, he was losing some weight there. He was in a paddock with like 3 other horses, and like they weren't stealing his food, but the way the paddock kind of worked out, he was not really getting enough food. He'd lost a lot of weight, all his ribs were showing. And I kind of wanted a little bit more independence with how I cared for him. Like I wanted to be able to like choose, because it had been the riding school I'd gone to since I was little, so I wanted to be able to choose when I rode him, and I wanted to be able to like choose stuff because I was 17. I kind of wanted to have more independence with my horse because he would kind of get moved paddocks and stuff, and I never really had control over it. So I was really sad to leave, but I decided to go to a more kind of grown-up environment. So it was really upsetting, but I kind of knew I had to leave, which kind of sucked. But I moved to a kind of fancy riding school, which my first full-time like riding school was pretty fancy, and then my second one that I was there for 7 years, like it was quite like rustic, and like basically it was just fun. And you kind of like, there weren't all these unnecessary rules, like you could kind of wear what you want. It wasn't full of rich snobby people, it was just full of like just kids having fun. So then I kind of moved to a place that had a lot of adults. I think I was the youngest person that registered there, and I was 17. And so I had Timmy there from when I was 17, and I kept riding Timmy, doing dressage competitions. I think I did show jumping competitions for a while, kept him there. And then I was having lessons with the person who owned the stables. There was an indoor arena, outdoor arena, private paddocks, stables, like, so it's quite fancy, and like everything was a lot more expensive, but it was a lot more like, you know, expensive and posh. So I took lessons there, and it was pretty nice for a while. I was there, and then a teacher who was there kind of said, I really think if you want to keep going with your dressage, you need a new horse, because Timmy was getting like a bit old, and he was a little bit small for me, and she was like, you can either need to choose Timmy or your dressage, and I was kind of not really sure what to do, but then I decided I was gonna get another horse. So we started looking for horses, and I bought Glamour, and I think I was about 18, 19 when I bought Glamour. So then I adjusted Glamour there for a few months, and as things seem to go with, like, especially me, with the first few months of having a horse, like everything isn't smooth sailing, and I had a few falls off her. Nothing serious, everything was fine. I just had some falls when like she would spook and I wasn't prepared or whatever. And my riding teacher there was a bit nervous about that, and she was kind of like, I'm not really sure how I feel with you and Glamour here, because like I don't want the liability if you hurt yourself, which was warranted because I had fallen off Timmy and hurt myself. I'd broken my arm there before, and I'm just the sort of person that falls off all the time. I'm just clumsy. So I kind of knew I had to move then. So I was looking everywhere for a place to adjust, and for a few weeks while I was looking, I couldn't ride, so I really needed to find somewhere to go. So then I decided I was just going to sell Glamour. I put her in the market for a while. No one was really interested. She's quite big, and no one in Tassie really wanted something that big. So then I moved Glamour to an agistment place down in Grove, and she was there like, I don't know, 2 months or something. I think I was about 19 when I moved her there. And so she stayed there a while. I wasn't going to ride her because she was on the market. No one was really messaging me about her. But then the person that I was adjusting with kind of convinced me to get on her again. So I started lunging her, and I got on her, and it actually went really well. So then I was like, okay, I'll start riding again. So then I was riding there again, and I was actually quite liking it. It was really far away from my place though, but it was okay. But then the woman who I was adjusting with had previously had a horse on her property who kicked her horse, and her horse died. So she was kind of nervous about stuff, and Glamour, being a mare, did a little kick over the fence. Nothing that bad, but she got really frightened about it and said I had to go. So basically then I had to leave there and find somewhere else to go. And that was when I found my riding school. Well, it's not really a riding school, my agistment place I have now. I'm actually the only person there at the moment, apart from the people that live there. And they're really good. They're in Penna, which is like just past the airport in Cambridge. And I moved Glamour there, and it's really nice there. Great paddocks. They're really good with the horses, and they've got a nice big full-size outdoor arena. it's really good like facilities. It's really quiet there and like peaceful, and everyone's really nice. So I'm really happy there. So like I don't think it's really a case of like a riding school is bad or like not good for you. I just think you have to move to what suits your situation. Like you don't want a little kid going to like a top dressage stable with all warm bloods there, and you don't want like a grown up with like a Grand Prix horse going to like a little podunk riding like you know, a little like pony rides thing. So you have to just choose what suits you as a person, and like even your discipline. If you're like at a barn that's all barrel racing people and you do show jumping, you're kind of not really going to feel like you fit in. So everywhere where I'm agisting now, everyone there, the two girls that live there, they both do showing and dressage, so I kind of fit in there, and they love glamour, so it's pretty great. They kind of treat her like she's their horse, which is great. She's just one of the family. So yeah, so if you guys want like a full like debriefing on my whole riding story, please let me know. But it'll be quite long. I've seen some all the times I've fallen off videos, but I don't think I'd be able to do them because I don't remember how many times I fell off. And also like I've literally fallen off, like I'm not kidding, 100 times. Like for a while when I had Shadow for like a year, I used to fall off him at every lesson. And like Timmy, I've fallen off about 30-40 times. And then riding school horses, I've fallen off, so like that video would go forever and I wouldn't even remember half of them. But please tell me what suggestions you have. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. It's great to be back, guys. Love you. Bye.